Hi, this is Madhu from Success Next. Have you ever wished there was a formula to ace your interviews? Yes, that actually is a formula. We call it the STAR method. STAR is an acronym. It stands for situation, task, action, and result. So, whatever question the interviewer is going to ask, we always recommend you tell a story rather than just say, I am good at this, I am hardworking, but you rather give an example and a situation where you demonstrated those skills or abilities. So when you use the STAR technique, you first talk about the situation you or your employer were in, and then the task that you had to do. Then talk about the action, what did you guys actually do? And then the result, what came out of your action. When you are answering an interview question, the formula to use for most behavioral questions is the STAR approach. We already looked at it. STAR stands for situation, task, action, and result. So when do we use the STAR approach? We use it whenever the question is about teamwork. When the interviewer is asking, can you demonstrate that you are a team player? So you go back and then find a situation when in the past you were a team player, you talk about a particular situation. Same thing when they ask about your problem solving skills, analytical skills, your interpersonal skills or your leadership abilities. These are really ideal situations for you to use STAR method. How to answer behavioral questions using the STAR technique. But I want to tell about these 5 major mistakes that I see amongst interview takers. I just want to make sure that you guys don't do it. Okay, the first thing that I very often see is like people are just not very prepared. They don't have the stories really nailed down. Okay, so we talked about those 5 categories. I recommend having 2 stories for each category and practicing it in front of a video or like a mock interview with someone else watching you how you say it. Okay, at least 2 to 3 times. The second thing I notice is that people are not answering the question. They will fit the answer based on the story they have and not really answer the question the interviewer is asking. Don't do that. Don't make up some story or use the story that doesn't fit. The third mistake I often see is that people sound very rehearsed. Like when they are talking about these stories, it's as if they repeat it word for word based on what they have written down. It sounds very robotic. Don't do it. Use a conversational approach. All right. Then the fourth one that I see is that people tell a story that really is not a success. And even worse, they don't say what is the learning from the situation. Okay, always use a story in which there is some kind of a positive ending. Okay, and you learn something. The next and the last tip I want to tell you in terms of mistakes is avoid using stories that put you in a bad light. It could be either way. Like maybe some people will say, like they will exaggerate and say, okay, I've done this, that, this, and I saved the entire situation. Don't be that person. Also, don't talk about a situation where you did something unethical. This just puts you in a really bad light. Let's look at how to use STAR technique in action. Let's say the interviewer is asking you, can you tell me about your ability to handle stress or when you're put under extreme pressure situation? So using the STAR technique, the first step will be to describe the situation. Okay, let's say you start by saying, in my prior job, there were 2 of us, a coworker and myself, reporting to the vice president of finance, and we were working together as a team, but my co-worker was assigned a very, very important special project. Unfortunately, he fell sick and had to take an entire week off, but the project deadline was by the end of this week. Okay, so this is the situation. Then what is the task? So my supervisor, my vice president came to me and said, can you take on the project? And with no leniency on the deadline, I had to complete the project within 2 days. So that is the task. Step number 3 is to talk about the action you took to solve the problem. Okay, so continuing on that, you can say I requested and was granted a reduction in my day-to-day job responsibilities, so I was able to allot the extra time to tackle this special project. Okay, and as my weekly goals, like I was able to delegate them to my teammates and was able to complete this special project. And then the fourth one is to talk about the result in a really positive manner. With the reduction of my daily responsibilities and completing my project, my manager was really impressed. He really praised me for my attitude and drive, and I was given several further leadership opportunities and roles. This eventually got me a promotion, and I've never turned back since then. Okay, this is how you use the STAR technique when answering a behavioral question.